'cause it's really how we live.
And the players getting themselves into game mode with the tip-off just moments away. Good Friday night to you sports fans. You've come to the right place. It's the NBA on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan, joined by Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, with Doris Burke reporting from the sidelines. Look now, State Farm presents the starting lineups. And one of the guys we'll be watching out for today, Ryan Anderson.
And the foundation of his game is really his great shooting and rebounding ability. He's a guy who has a soft touch for a big man. Really fun to watch.
Yeah, for a guy who spends a lot of time out beyond the arc, he does a surprisingly good job. First quarter of action, just under 3.5 minutes played. Earlier, Doris Burke spoke with head coach Monty Williams.
Well, guys, in terms of their focus coming into this one, he said he's expecting their defense, especially on the interior, to be vital. He said we can protect the rim with our shot block. Of course, we prefer to keep them outside the paint, but that capability to deny finishes certainly could come in handy tonight. Kevin, we'll see if he's right.
Thanks for the report, Doris. Steve, Clark, your thoughts on their defensive focus here?
Well, it's the right strategy, Kevin, because you have to play to your strengths as a team. You can't get away from who you are.
And that's right, Steve. Their strength is certainly what they do defensively. They can rattle folks. You know, the Jazz had tremendous size up front and down low, so no surprise that this was a very strong rebounding team. One of the best in the league in gobbling up Karens.
Well, everyone seems to have the hot hand here early on.
You know, if they keep up this scoring pace, we'll definitely see some big point totals from both of these teams.
Here's the machine. And there's a whistle. That goes on Raja Bell. That's his first foul.
Well, he gave the officials no choice there. Easy call. Went right over the top.
Yeah, he's got to go straight up when he's under the boards in that kind of traffic. Can't chest first into the man in front of you. That's a foul.
Catching up on the changes. And around a minute gone here in the second quarter. Here's the machine. He's guarded by Williams. And good counting. Before I forget, guys, what did you think about his comments in the press conference after their last game?
You know, I think he said the right things after that first game. It's a big one because it is your first taste of NBA action, but he seemed to keep it all in perspective. It's just one game in a long line of what will be many.
Well, it's important for young guys like that to mature quickly and to understand how the NBA operates and the fact that you have to keep an even keel throughout the season or you'll go crazy. So it's good that he seems to understand that right away.
And so in the game for the Jazz, at the 4 and 5, Paul Millsap and Al Jefferson. Bella's out there with Mo Williams, and it's Williams at the small forward. Second quarter of basketball, just over a minute and a half played. Now here's Williams, not a lot of room. Back to Williams. Kicks it to Jefferson. Lopez is there. Little turnaround, and it's blocked by Lopez. Here's the machine. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
You know, when you're down and struggling, teams are not going to have any pity on you. They'll step right on your neck, and that's pretty much what happened to the Hornets last season. They missed some players with injury, and the West just ate them up.
The Hornets have made 2 and missed 2 at the line tonight. The first one falls. Back to the Hornets, not a lot of room for error in the West, and for a large part of the season, Steve, they were just outmanned.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were a young group. They had a ton of injuries, and you look at the record, 14-34 against the West. Not surprising, given that they were in transition and playing in such a strong conference.
And the Hornets making a change here. Warwick's checked in. He's perfect from the line this time.
Well, one of the things the Jazz are going to have to sort out over the next year or two is just playing time in the front court. And that equation was made even more confusing with the addition of Enes Kanter in the draft. But he played a very limited role last year, and the minutes seem to work out for everybody. But as he develops, it'll be very interesting to keep an eye on the rotation of the Utah front court.
Quarter two and just under 2.5 minutes gone by. From 13 feet, it goes down. The Machine's got 8 points here in this quarter.
That jump shot's like a layup for him when the defense backs off like that.
Well, I don't know if I'd call it a log jam, Steve, or what. I mean, I think it's still kind of sorting itself out with the Utah Jazz up front. A lot of size, a lot of length. Favors is terrific. Kanter, we really don't even know what's going on because he's so raw, but great potential. You know, a lot of good young players, Clark, and there are only so many minutes to go around. That'll be an interesting dance there for the coach, Tyrone Corbin, to try to figure that out.
It will be, but you'd much rather try to do that dance with that kind of ammunition and those types of potential dancers than not. So Favors is another guy in the mix, and eventually you think the Jazz will perhaps have to move one of those guys up to free up playing time, but that remains to be seen.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Well, Kevin, for rookie Anthony Davis, it's been an incredible last couple of years. In high school, he rapidly went from a 6'2 guard to a 6'10 forward, vaulting to national prominence. Then a college championship at Kentucky and National Player of the Year honors.
And so we wrap up the first half. Jazz lead by 7. We'll see you after halftime for the beginning of the third quarter.
Now, presented by Sprint.
Thanks for joining us on 2K Sports as the NBA season revs up. Let's get into the halftime report. Utah with the lead against New Orleans. Their work on the offensive boards, a big factor. Great effort out there. Mo Williams, Mo Betta. At the break, 16 points, and as usual, he's been handing out a lot of assists.
All right, the second half beginning in just a moment. Maurice Williams having a dominant impact in this game.
Yes.
Here's the Machine. He's guarded by Williams. 11 feet away. Al Jefferson grabs the miss. Jefferson's got his 7th rebound of the game with that last one.
Well, they say control the glass, control the game. They're definitely controlling the glass.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's been the case here tonight. Big lead they're enjoying on the glass.
The Machine, he's in at the point. Gordon the off guard with Aminu at the 3. Warwick is out there with Robin Lopez. So that's the group out there for New Orleans.
You know, you look at the Hornets, and it's still a relatively new franchise. Originally in Charlotte, that's where that team started. They've only been in the league since 1988, Kevin, and they've had a lot of success in a relatively brief tenure.
Back to the Hornets since their formation, 1988, as you said, Clark. They've only missed out on the playoffs 12 times. That includes the first 4 years when they're just an expansion team trying to get their legs under them. Yep. So, Steve, not that bad a history.
No, not bad. And they're one of the better stories you can hope for if you're an expansion team. I mean, they really were amazing in Charlotte with their attendance, their appeal to that community, and now trying to build up a franchise in New Orleans with a young star in Anthony Davis.
Williams kicks to Jefferson. He's against Smith. Good luck. Gets the bucket. That's now 8 points for Al Jefferson.
Great display of that mid-range touch right now.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with taking a step in and knocking down a few. I know you were a great marksman from the three-point line, but sometimes people only see the game in threes and layups. that mid-range game is alive and well here tonight.
Smith gets it to go from 18 feet away.
There's Tyrone Corbin in his second season as head coach of the Jazz. Before that, he'd spent 7 years as an assistant coach in Utah.
Williams with the ball. Al-Farouq Amino covering. Williams dishes to Favors. The pass to Foy. Screen by Jefferson. 5 on the clock. Shoots from the high post. And it's Foy missing. Going back to Tyrone Corbin, 16-year journeyman career as a player in the NBA. Played for 10 teams in all, the Utah Jazz among them.
Yeah, 3 years in Utah. He was always known as kind of a grinder. You know, every coach loved him because he played so hard. And, you know, those qualities, I think, translate well to the coaching ranks. Corbin knows how hard it is to compete in the NBA, and he knows how hard it is to win. And so he's trying to put his guys in the best position to have success, and I think they really respect him for that.
51 seconds left to play here in the third. Watson, the pass to Jefferson. Hammers it home.
And not much resistance on that jam.
Yeah, defensively, you're right, not a great sequence.
Well, they lost track of him, and they paid the price.
Here's the machine. He's covered by Watson. Here's the machine. It's rebounded by Derek Favors. Favors got 4 rebounds now tonight.
And that's the way it's been. A big margin for them in the rebounding category.
You know, sometimes you got to get down and dirty and do the dirty work. And in this one, they've done it, and it's paid off on the scoreboard in a big way.
Aminu with the bucket.
Looks like he may have been showboating a little bit at the end of that one.
Jazz leading by 14. Watson kicks to Jefferson. Working on Smith. From the left block. Jefferson's shot is off. Here's the machine. And he beat the buzzer, but it's no good. Well, through 3 quarters of play, down double digits, it may be difficult to overcome. It's the Jazz. They lead by 14. And time to step aside quickly, but we'll be back in no time with the start of the 4th quarter.
Next Monday night, Marcin Gortat and the Phoenix Suns go on the road to battle the Miami Heat. Do not miss it.
And thanks again for joining us. Let's see what happens here in the 4th. And now our sideline reporter Doris Burke has a report on our Sprite Uncontainable game. Hi, Doris.
Thanks, Kevin. And it's the Jazz with the Uncontainable Game Award. They had a plan to get an edge in this one, and they executed it perfectly. Hard to see them giving this one away in the final period.
And as always, Doris, thank you. Last outing for New Orleans, it was a loss to the San Antonio Spurs.
And the final score doesn't really indicate how well they played that night, Clark.
No, it doesn't. I mean, they were on the end of a few bad breaks that swung the game the other way. It should have been closer.
A moment now to reset the lineups, brought to us by Gatorade, all fueled up here for the 4th quarter. So on the floor for Utah. At the forward spots, Gordon Hayward and Paul Millsap. Mo Williams and Alec Burks make up the backcourt. And it's Jefferson in at the center position. Pass to Anderson. Millsap with the steal. Outside Williams. Dishes it to Burks. Lets it go with the 3. Good. Great play by Williams to set it up. Williams has got his 7th assist here tonight. The Hornets trail by 19. Here's the machine. Takes the 3. Rebounded by the Jazz. Williams has got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight. And going against New Orleans, their first meeting of the year.
Well, and somewhat surprisingly, they actually lost the season series last year, and playoff status apparently meant nothing when it came to how they matched up.
A few possessions into the fourth quarter, just over a minute played. Here's the machine. The good-looking shot from the wing. Now here's Williams. And Clark, they should not have dropped that series. I mean, that was just sloppy.
I agree with you, Kevin. I think some teams just get underestimated. Plenty of teams can give you trouble if you assume you're going to come in and use them as a doormat. You got to be ready to play every time you lace them up.
Millsap kicks to Burks. The rebound by Anderson.
Boy, I tell you what, guys, he's an extremely strong finisher. I'm surprised he wasn't able to power that through the defense.
Vasquez, that's good. And here is Williams. Last quarter of play, about 2 minutes in now. He kicks it to Jefferson. Hayward. And he lays it straight in. And the Jazz lead by 17.
What a play. The hoop plus the harm.
Excellent concentration on the finish. That's big time.
Al-Farouq Aminu. He's checked in for Ryan Anderson. The free throw drops by Hayward.
You know, one of the interesting parts of that Monte Ellis-Andrew Bogut deal was that the Jazz were actually in line to receive the Warriors' first-round pick. It was protected through 7. And so Golden State, part of the deal with Ellis leaving and Bogut being hurt was that the Warriors thought they might lose enough games to actually retain that pick. But they didn't know that, you know, going in one way or the other, how that would work out.
Back to Millsap. Outside Williams. Williams gets a screen from Millsap. Jumper off the screen. Williams gets the bucket. Williams has got 26 points.
Boy, he's been so cool out there, composed, never rattled. I mean, a very steady contributor to the offense.
Corner shot, and it's blocked. Tries again. He lays it in with a soft touch. And 12 points for Eric Gordon.
You know, they're just getting hammered inside and really need to find a way to be tougher down there. They got to be physical. They got to man up in there.
I agree. I mean, you look at the points they're giving up, most of them seem to be coming inside the paint.
Outside Williams. He passes to Hayward. Straight up. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. Yeah, you know, Steve, Jazz fans everywhere because very interested in that Warrior, you know, last handful of games of the regular season. Hope they would, you know, win enough where the Jazz would get that pick.
The Jazz ended up, Kevin, losing that pick, but they'll get it back eventually. Well, Kevin, you know, after the Chris Paul trade, you knew it was going to be a tough year for the Hornets, especially with some other injuries they had, and it was. Ended with the worst home record in the Western Conference.
The Jazz making a switch here. Jefferson's checked in. Vasquez kicks to Gordon. Off the drop step. That falls. Great assist by Vasquez. 14 points for Eric Gordon.
Well, Gordon is known for his ability to knock down threes. Tremendous range from the three-point line and beyond for Gordon. But I think what makes him dynamic is his strength and his ability to use the threat of the three-point shot to draw defenders out and then attack the rim from there.
That is scary on a player like Eric Gordon too, Steve. I mean, you know they'll start looking his way at the end of close games, so not only are you worried about him stepping up and knocking one down from deep, but you also know he can get to the rim and maybe create a three-point play.
Ryan Anderson, he's checked in for the Hornets. Clark, never easy watching a team rebuild and struggle like the Hornets, but they knew they would have to do some of that at some point, and you know, I guess, Steve, they feel they're going to be okay.
Well, they did the right thing. You know, they revamped, they retooled, and obviously got lucky in the lottery. They were able to draft Anthony Davis, but they've got some nice young pieces now on that team, and it looks to be a franchise on the rise. Well, you can put this one in the W column. I mean, this is locked up now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. I mean, they closed this game out exactly like they needed to.
Here's the machine. He's guarded by Williams. Aminu dishes to Anderson. Here's the machine. Trying his luck deep. The offensive rebound. Gordon for 3. That's good. Gordon's got 7 now in this quarter.
Another second chance bucket. I mean, that's like taking candy from a baby.
Yeah, no excuses, Clark. I mean, at some point, you're going to have to get focused and have all 5 defenders boxing out.
Williams kicks to Jefferson. Leads him in there. Blocked. Williams. Here's the machine. There's 49 seconds left in the game. Beyond the arc. And again, New Orleans with the triple. Jazz have gotten into a pretty good groove, going 6 of 10 here in the final quarter. Jefferson setting the pick for Williams. Right side, Millsap. .30 seconds left in the fourth quarter. That's good. And the Jazz lead by 19.
I think we can chalk this one up. The goal now is just to run some time.
Yeah, I think it's time to get the bus started now, boys.
And that one's good. There's 21 seconds left in the fourth. Clark, and they can just let the clock run out here.
No argument with that W.
Tipped away. And here they come. Ahead. Aminu, the pass to Gordon. Count that one.
Nice little run here, but it may be too little too late.
Yeah, I agree. Just not enough time, Steve. The clock is their enemy, not their friend.
Defensive foul. Number shooting for Utah. Mo Williams. 2 shots.
And that one falls for Williams. So both teams making some changes here. And so he makes both from the line. And so it's Utah easily grabbing the win. They put on a show tonight, thoroughly controlling each end of the floor.
Hey, what more can you ask?
Thank you for joining us for this presentation of NBA basketball on 2K Sports. For Clark, Steve, and Doris, and the rest of the crew, Kevin Harlan saying see you next time.
Not a good game from your team tonight. Is there anything positive you can take from a game with a final score as lopsided as this one?